What's up guys, it's Comic Zealot and I decided today to make a pair of vlogs about my favorite movies and my favorite books of 2017. So if you want to see what movies that I liked and hated, go ahead and search on my channel for that. This video is about my top 10 favorite books that I read in 2017. I'm a major bookworm. I am always reading and I read at least an hour a day, if not more. I've just always been that way. There was no way I was going to narrow it down to 5. So here are my top 10 books that I read in 2017 in no particular order. Number 1 was If I Was Your Girl by Meredith Russo, and it was a young adult book about the character was trans, and I just thought that it was a really accurate and beautiful way to talk about that. And I read a lot of young adult books, and I usually don't rank them high unless they are fairly original, and this one was original and I really enjoyed it. So if you like young adult books, and especially if you're passionate about LGBTQ, then I would say definitely check this book out. Number 2 was called Being Nixon, A Man Divided. It was an autobiography, or is it biography? I never remember. I think it's biography. And I liked it because it was very comprehensive. I like learning about American history, and I didn't really know a lot about President Nixon other than Watergate. Number 3, When Hitler Took Cocaine and Lenin Lost His Brain, which is just a book of a lot of short stories that are lesser known events and people in history. So I really dig stuff like that. This was a good book. It's a quick read because the stories are all pretty short and it holds your attention. So I definitely recommend this book for anybody who wants to learn about history. Number 4, The Girl with the Lower Back Tattoo by Amy Schumer. And that's because I love Amy. She's funny in her stand-up and she's funny when she writes, especially because if you read it and you kind of read it in her voice and can picture her face as she's saying these things. I really liked this book. I like learning about her and how she came to be who she was. So if you like Amy Schumer, I definitely recommend reading her autobiography. Number 5 is Me Before You by Jojo Moyes. I don't know how to say that name, but it was made into a movie as well, I think, and it's kind of a chick book, but it's about a guy who's a quadriplegic and the girl who comes to take care of him, and I bet it's a great movie if they did the book justice, and so I look forward to watching the movie at some point. It's a really sweet story, so if you like kind of chick romantic type books, I would check out Me Before You for sure. Number 6 is The Good Father by Diane Chamberlain, and I read a couple of her books this year and I really like the way she writes, but it's also, her plots are very interesting. It's a chick book, but it's got a really interesting spin on it, and it's about obviously a father and his little girl and how he'll go to whatever lengths it takes to take care of her, and it's super sweet. So I recommend checking out this book if you like chick books and if you just like a heartwarming type of story. Number 7 is The Autobiography of Malcolm X, which I'd always wanted to read, but I was always scared because it's such a long book. But it's fascinating, especially if you know a lot about Martin Luther King. It's kind of to get the other spin on things, although I don't really consider them opposites. They are in some ways, but in other ways they're not. But he goes into a lot of the historical, cultural, societal views of blacks at the time and what it was like to be black growing up in that, and how he strived to look like a white person. And it's fascinating. I didn't know that much about him. I just kind of knew his general views, but I would recommend this autobiography literally to anybody because I feel like he's a really important person in American history, especially around the civil rights movement. Number 8, I Can't Make This Stuff Up, Life Lessons by Kevin Hart. Again, I was reading a ton of biographies and autobiographies this year. This book is great. I love Kevin. I think he's super funny, both in movies and in stand-up, and his book is just as funny. It's very sweet. There really are a lot of life lessons in this book, and I just like reading books written by celebrities, even though they're biased, obviously, in their past when they talk about themselves. It gives you a good insight into who these people are. So I really like this book, learning about how Kevin, got to be where he is today. It's funny, especially when he talks about his dad. So I recommend this for anybody who even remotely enjoys Kevin Hart. I think that this will make you like him even more. Number 9, Micro by Michael Crichton. Now, Michael Crichton is my favorite author of all time. I've read several of Michael Crichton's books, and he was an incredible author. I'm so sad that he died so soon and so young. I intend on reading every single one of his books. Micro was super good. If that was a movie, it would be such a good movie. About these scientists, and they get shrunk super. It's like Honey, I Shrunk the Kids, but better and sciencey. They get shrunk micro size, and they basically survive in the world as little tiny people. And so their enemies aren't humans or big things. It's things like bugs. And so you really learn a lot about the small organisms in the world, which I think is super cool. I love animals, so like this book, I loved it. I would reread it again in a second. Last but definitely not least is Born to Run by Bruce Springsteen. I got this book Christmas of 2016, and it is a monster. Look at how thick this is. It's a monster. Bruce Springsteen is tied with Bob Dylan as my favorite musician. It's really hard to pick one, so I'm not going to pick one. I just love him a lot. This book took me a really long time to get through just because it's so long, but it really made me appreciate him more as a musician, as a person. He's very candid in it. He's very vulnerable. I loved it. I really gained a lot of respect for him. So it's definitely not number 10. These were in no particular order, but my 10th favorite book that I read in 2017 was Born to Run by Bruce Springsteen. There you have it. There's my list of books. Feel free to comment below if you agreed or disagreed with any of my picks. And thank you for watching. Thank you for liking. Thank you for subscribing. And I will be back soon with another unboxing video. So until next time, peace.